Achievement like fellowship in education from Philadelphia, USA, awarded educational project in Tough Conference, and speakers at Barcelona conference, presented educational project in Brazil in Tough Conference and everywhere. So without taking much time, I request madam to please start your talk on our today's session. Thank you. Thank you very much, madam.
Yeah. So can I share the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, is it whole screen now? Is it whole screen now? Yeah. So good evening to one and all. I thank all of you for coming over here in whatever numbers. I'm sure that it will be an eye-opener for everybody as and when you see the presentation, because we are going to talk about ageism. So what comes to your mind when you think of an older adult? Three things that immediately come to your mind. Can you share in the chat box? Three things that come to your mind. Okay, as you are sharing in the chat box, when I had questioned the participants of one of the courses I conduct, they said, in my mind, the response that comes is an elderly adult is a slow person. He's forgetful. Of course, he's experienced, but he's dependent. He can't do things on his own. He's weaker in health. Some people even said senile, but he's empathetic and caring for the family and the society. Many are supportive older adults. Some said they're selfish. They want to get their own things done. They are not tech savvy. It is a very mild word I have put. Someone said that they cannot be taught technology and they are very slow in learning. They are dyslexic as far as the newer online apps are concerned. They're boring and nagging. They talk of the same things again and again. Of course, some people said the grace and blessings of the elderly is important. And many more things came up. Let me share one or two things which I got as a response recently. So, chronic health conditions, mental health changes, and the retirement phase is not so enjoyable for many people. Can you hear me? Chinmay, can you hear me? So let me share this one picture and I'll show this again to you in the end. Do you think this is a relevant picture? Culturally in our society may not be, but today, and it is in culturally in our society in many, with many people who are educated and who know that keeping them engaged positively is important. So what does ageism refer to? Stereotyping. What we think about the older people, what we feel about them, and how we act with them. So what you think, feel, and act. One thing is for sure, we all come into this world with an expiry date, but none of us want to become senile. We all want to grow old, but we do not want to experience the aging process, which is, many people had described regarding forgetfulness, etc. it negatively impacts, ageism negatively impacts our healthcare, our financial security and economy, because why do they need so much money? Why should they be investing? Why retirement age should not be reduced, or why it is increased? It influences thus the health policy. It impacts at every age, because what the young child is taught is, grandma is sitting, don't disturb her, let her be sitting. Even we tell the grandfather, don't get up from your seat, be there. So with all these things, Australia started in 2021 World Ageism Day. Ageism means you are biased with age. Biased because either you say you're too old for this job, or you're too old to do something, you're not useful, or a young person is told that you don't have enough experience. So ageism can be with any age. But today we are going to talk about ageism in the later years of life, where you need to be positive with yourself. So the World Ageism Day just went, and I answered a quiz by them, and it was an eye opener, because see, what I have done here is sent a Google form how we all perceive old, elderly, older person. What do you like to call older person, elderly, senior, geriatric? All these terms are still being very controversial. Now they have come to a conclusion, most of the people across the world, that it is young person and old person, older adult. Do not call geriatric, senior, and other things and all, because you don't call the younger adult junior. So they say don't send in the subconscious mind that you're old or you're elderly. Older with age, yes. Rich with knowledge and young in mind. That is how people all want to be. And some are fearful of the end of life, the death. Some are fearful because the looks change. There is lot of wrinkles or maybe slowness. And this comes in their mind. As it comes in their mind, studies have shown that it affects their daily life. It affects the longevity of life too in many adults when it comes and affects mentally. So do you think we live in age biased society? Please share in the chat box. Nobody wants to grow old, and we always otherize the group. It is not happening to me, it's happening to somebody else. We'll come to that too. So let's talk about it. Only when you talk about it, you discuss about it, your thought process comes, and we all can discuss how our mind culturally age-old stereotyping can be changed. So we sent out Google Forms. Many I sent out, and people also helped to send it to many organizations and colleges. We got 156 responses. 74 were health professionals, either in college or working in some societies, etc. And the rest were either BDS or MBBS or healthcare workers, etc. I'll just tell you that we need to address the right way. I told you this. Not calling senile, classification, old needs to be changed. There's a big discussion, even the geriatric society. People call silver tsunami in Japan, graying of society in the Western countries. These are addressing with a bias. They're older adult, that's all. And somebody told me the other day, oldie goldie people, we don't want to include for a party. So, you may not include, or include is your wish, but naming and branding is not preferred. So out of the responses, I'll share quickly the responses before I come to the topic. Majority of older adults will become senile during old age. 48% felt it is true. Whereas the correct response, all will not become senile. It all depends upon how you have kept up with your daily routines, exercises, positivity over the period of time. They say that how do you want to be at 80 starts from 50s, at least from 60s. And research has clearly shown that musculoskeletal organ is the only organ which can develop at any age. Muscles can, so that muscle tissue, if it is there, it can develop. So they say exercise, strengthening exercises, resistance exercises, walking, it also will increase our dopamine levels to be more happy. So the next question, most older adults have no desire for sexual relations. And it was pointed out false by most people, and it was right. Because it is their right. There are apps, dating apps for the elderly across the world. What they do with their life, how they manage to be happy, is their own cup of tea. So, chronological age is the most important determinant of someone's age. Healthcare workers said no. Why I did with the healthcare workers? Because they work closely with the elderly. And their biases means a lot in talking to them, interacting with them, giving them the treatment, and prioritizing, maybe a triage you can say over here. But even the society, community, institutions need to be aware of this. And why we are talking about this topic today also will become clear as the slides go ahead. So most older adults have difficulty adapting to change. In other words, they tend to set in their ways. So many people said false, only 38% said false, and that is the right answer. Physical handicaps are the primary factors limiting the activities of older adults. Physical handicaps. So it is true or false. See, sometimes it's also subjective. Physical handicaps in what forms? You can say that I am 60, I am 80, and so I have become older, I am forgetful, I'm not able to do this work. It's also subjective. So the answer was false over here. Declines in all five senses are normally occurring in old age. People said true. I do not agree with this. The response by this particular perception of aging scale given by the NLM is probably done with a set of people who feel, see, the decline in the senses may happen physically, but how you again take care of that. Signs come of not able to hear much earlier than actually not able to hear. Have you gone to the doctor? Has the audiometry been done? Have you ever visited time to time for the physical? So these are the things we want to empower the elderly with. Older adults are incapable of learning new information. It's false. Physical strength tends to decline with old age. Most people said true, but they have found out that, as I said, when you are agile, exercising, moving, mobility is the greatest contributor to good health and physical strength. Intelligence tends to decline. False. Neuroplasticity of the elderly can be kept up with quizzes, with puzzles, with so many activities. I showed you painting, I'll come to that again. Majority of older adults say they are happy most of the time. Many people, 54% said it's false. So it's 50-50 almost. Some people say they are happy. Some people feel, no, they're always unhappy. The vast majority of older adults will at some point end up in a nursing home. It's not true. It's not true. Because it all depends culturally on the country, whether they go to a nursing home, whether they are at home, or how the age related, chronological age and biological age match, and how the physiology is still kept at an optimum level. About 80% of older people say they are healthy enough to carry out their normal daily activities. Yes, most of the people said it's true. Most older adults are rejected by their children. It's false, but to certain extent, this is also becoming more common across the world. They are not rejected, but the younger want to live with the younger people. The cultural bias, the stereotyping that I may not enjoy the movie or a party with my elder aunt or somebody who is much elder to me. So this is culturally. In general, most older adults tend to be pretty much alike. I don't think they're pretty much alike. About 53% said it's false, but still a lot of them, 47% believe it's true. The majority of older adults say that they are lonely. So this is the mental attitude which needs to be nurtured from whether you stay alone, you need not be lonely, you are with yourself. So this culturally should be engraved in the mind. And people have said false may not be true in our country, may not be completely, majority of older adults may not feel lonely in our country, but majority of the countries have reported loneliness is the greatest source. That's why social connectivity is important for everyone at any age, especially for the younger to learn, the younger adults to be interactive and to be contributing, and older adults also. It is important. So old age can often be characterized as a second childhood. 85% people said true. It need not be true. We speak to them like that. Now, can we have our tablets? Aji, can we go to bed? So this is called, a new term is coined called elder speak. Elder speak is infantilizing and belittling the elderly, that you are very incapable, I am here to help you. Over 10% of population of India is over the age of 65. It is true, but now it's much more today. And I'll show you a slide where it says that in another 20 odd years, it will be 20%. Today itself, it is 12.5%. Most older adults tend to be preoccupied with death. Not true. Preoccupied with death is that manic feeling which many people get because somehow they feel permanency is required. The permanency cannot be seen with the body or felt with the body or even experienced. It has to be that whatever time I have, I will do the best in the world. And also, it has been shown that going within, meditating, all these spiritual practices also help at everyone at any age. Most older adults have incomes below the poverty line. It's not true, but to a large 40%, I show in a slide next, that 40% of people are living below poverty line who are elderly, almost at the poverty line or below. Older people tend to become more religious as they age. People have written 74% true. This is the perception we have on the elderly. This is often a result of facing their own mortality because nobody wants to die. So, actually speaking, we don't speak about death. The next talk I want to have is speaking about death. If you don't speak about death, it is scary. If you don't speak about ageism, ageist society, today we are openly speaking about LGBTQ. We are talking about inclusion in the medical syllabus by the NMC. We are talking about so many things, you know. So one funny thing happened when first time I spoke to a person regarding ageism. They started laughing because everybody is asking their share in the syllabus, in the curriculum, or maybe in the society. But rightfully so, awareness is needed, so they will ask for it. And I think you will also agree with me at the end. Retirement is detrimental. People say 6 months after retirement he died. That means because of depression. It's not true. It's not true. Because re-retirement is reworking. You are not tired. You are working. Maybe you are only at home, but your duties have changed and you are with the society doing some contribution in many organizations, or you are looking after, now you're working in shares, or maybe you're really taking up a second job, or you do what you like music, dancing, etc. And combination with that, you also, wherever your expertise is there, you're contributing. So it all depends on the person, it's subjective. So pain is a natural part of aging. So false and true. So false, it is absolutely false. That's a natural process of aging, because again, I'm telling you, abusing the body without taking care of it, spiking the sugar levels all the time, awareness is not there about nutrition, how the brain is sent a message, we have a big piece of cake or a ladu, and how the insulin spike is there and it's wasted because the brain cells have sent a message. So how it works and how intermittently you must, with the interval you should eat. I'm not saying intermittent fasting, but after breakfast, how long? If you keep on doing it, the GI tract will not take it. So this awareness needs to be created, and it should be there among the elderly. The majority of elders say that they feel irritated or angry much of the time. It is false. It is not true. Rarely does someone over the age of 65 produce a great work. Many people have, in fact, done great work after 60s and 70s, but it is not true for everyone. So, with age comes wisdom. So, people have said false. It may be true or false, but wisdom is never, they say that all these diseases, what we see, Parkinsonism, dementia, which is on an increase, is because of lack of exercises, lack of cognitive nurturing, lack of ability for interaction. And of course, I do not deny the genetic factors or the health factors of a subjective individual. But at the same time, the progress can be slowed. It may be early detection and prevention. Healthcare economics works on prevention, and we are giving some support. It's like giving free meals, but the person gets used to it. But how long will you be just making policies for elderly on paper? And how long will it be that they are not made aware of their responsibilities? That is the reason that ageism is important to be talked about consciously, explicitly in the common places like an auditorium, bus stops, and all. People say openly, "Arey wo booda hai, usko de do jagah," or something. He requires a space. You give him, but politely. Unconsciously, implicitly, we all have the cultural bias in the mind that yes, the elderly are not such a favored people. They are not contributing to society. What is the health burden on the government for spending on healthcare of the older persons? This is a question I saw. I mean, it's considered as a burden. And whenever you do it for a child, you do it willingly because they are growing up. But do we all realize by 2035, more than 55% of population abroad will be, about 60% will be above the age of 60? After about 25 years, the same condition is going to come in our country, that elderly population will be not just 20%, as I said, it will be 30, 35, 40%. And it may be more also. And because right from 2011 to 99, 2001 to 2011 census, it showed that the number of people have doubled. And the need for the senior homes, etc., has increased. So is it that we are just going to wait and watch, and only when the fire comes that we are going to extinguish, or we are all going to work collectively? So it is at a micro level, individual. When I ask this question in the group of health profession education course, what I do, many people said positively also that they are, they are able to contribute, they are able to be helpful, they are able to be supportive, etc. Some people said, what I remember is they are edentulous, they don't have teeth, and they are very weak, and they are very nagging. So it all is individual, your own bringing up and your own way you have done it, the thoughts that have been ingrained culturally in our society. It's at social networking meso levels also, and macro levels. Institutionally and culturally, we consider that particular sect of people like LGBTQ had to fight a lot. So, a lot of things they have undergone, and how we look at it today is different than how we looked at it about 20 years back or even 10 years back. So, we need to have that age gracefully, age with dignity, but age is not something taboo. Aging is there for everybody. Please don't otherize and talk. The elderly group and the old people and all, and you never think I'll become old because you think no, मैं कभी नहीं बूढ़ा होऊंगा. So the four types of ageism biases are personal, institutional, intentional, as we said, explicit, and unintentional, implicit. It is there. And a healthcare worker, he says that he is coming again and again. He has no problem with the dentures. He has no problem. Again and again, he's telling that he's feeling nausea, vomiting. What is this? So implicit, because you had a belief or experience with one person, one elderly, you cannot generalize it. Ageist beliefs can negatively impact an older person's mental health. The best, he feels recluse, he feels inferior, you make him feel small, that is unwanted. Unwanted is the worst feeling we can give to anyone. And even nurturing that I am important, I am wanted, this also culturally should be ingrained in every person, so that as they grow they don't feel neglected. Especially the emotional burden on the women is quite a bit, the mothers feel that. So we require the cultural change in the society. The best way to combat negative stereotypes that align with ageism is to recognize them and practice being inclusive. So we are going to talk about inclusivity. So I told you about elder speak, talking to older people in a way that sounds like a baby talk. It's a form of ageism that can be harmful and confusing. We all know about elderly abuse. Today, physical abuse and mental abuse both are rampant. And there are court cases which have happened not only here, across the world, regarding elder parents being deserted after the properties have been, given to them. So, all these things, one has to be aware that what are his rights, how much can he trust himself and others, and to believe in himself and not get carried away. Is often used in healthcare setting. The elderly people, you why have a separate clinic? Okay, pediatric clinics are separate, but in that clinic, when you are detecting oral cancer, we say that if you see lesions, then send him. And if you feel that there are elderly people requiring special treatment, and today we do not have one umbrella of care for them. The neurologist says you go to the ortho because this is you are not able to walk, so not a neuro problem. Orthopedic says something else, and they go around. There is no one umbrella of care. Umbrella of care will bring a lot of unity and also a lot of good health care for them. So this is very required. So next project that I want to do is on the interprofessional education in older adults, for older adults healthcare. Inferiority to seniors as opposed to the respect and admiration they deserve. See, whether one deserves or not, how you command it is important. And feeling of incompetency given to anyone is criminal. It's not accepted for anyone. So let's recognize it. There is ageism in the society. If you all agree or disagree, or maybe you have in between that some gray area, please type in the chat box. Dr. Chinmay will collect that. Though to create awareness requires understanding that there is a problem. You have to speak up. If you don't speak up the problem between the child and the parents, or the between the spouses, it never gets solved. It only compounds. If you hear something like an ageist remark, consider pointing it out to the other person that we can talk this way. It all depends on how we speak. The whole world goes only on the speech. It is not what you do. You can do a lot of help to a person and you shout at him and make him feel unwanted. Everything is washed out. Ask yourself, would I like it? Treat older people with the respect you will want. So let's be inclusive. Now let's give ourselves break and not otherize the people. Otherize means there is this word has been used so commonly in ageism articles, otherizing. So let's talk about this 1 second. Things are someone else's problem. People tend to focus on the aged as an otherized group. The public associates aging almost exclusively with decline and deterioration. An inescapable decline, fading away, breaking down, end is inevitable, isolated. So when it is fatalistic, people are scared of death, depression, dependence, and he can't do anything on his own. Out of sight, out of mind, because fear and misperceptions ultimately fuel a lack of attention for older others. Because people don't want to look. One of the 3-year-old, recently, one mother told me, whenever he sees the grandmom, so he always turns his face because he says, I don't want her to touch me because she is 90 and she has completely all wrinkles around the body, around the hand, around the neck and all. So he doesn't like. Maybe he's a too small a child that anybody taught him. But this is the thing that we need to slowly educate and remove. And who will do that? We all. And also the elderly cannot say that it's somebody move my cheese, government policies lao, paisa do, and 70-year-old ko aisa nahi bol sakti. It has to be they themselves coming forth and being responsible for their own healthcare and for their own. Today people are talking of cities being senior friendly, elderly friendly, by having ramps, by having letters written in bolder, this thing, having gardens for them, etc. Healthcare also has done quite a bit, but healthcare has not done enough to educate them, to make them, empower them to take care of themselves. Unless you have educated, then we can say that they are not doing. A sect of people need really good propaganda, education regarding how to take care of their own health. So we are going to work to disrupt. The Connecticut Aged Well Collaborative, that beautiful video, I could not add it over here. They have asked only questions to people who are participating. It is also online program. And they also only asked a question. There are a lot of isms. There are, ableism. Somebody who is differently able and you say that he can't get this work, immediately court may intervene or people will have empathy. So the ability can be created, can be, practiced. So there are lots of books which are written by the kids company who come out with amazing collection of ableism books. How the person is helped and then he helps himself. So why there should not be books for the ageism, against ageism? And it's not Dadi Ma ke paas, she has a stick and she cannot walk on her own, not this way, but making the things look as if it is more. Aging is beautiful. Aging is graceful. Aging is with dignity. So rightfully, we can be bold and beautiful. So we need to be old and beautiful. It is a collective effort. The positive of age-aligned medical access software, there is a great positive. Across the world, they have found out the portal application developers and healthcare system now needs to advance efforts that consider the needs of those who may be older when designing patient portals. Because digital exclusion is not allowed today. Everything goes on data. So if you don't have the proper data of the health of the diseases is so prevalent in the society, the psychological or the mental health of the people in various age groups and also above 60. So how we will be able to address these problems? Who will move my cheese? Who is responsible for my health? My family, my government, and my country's government or society? You yourself are responsible for your health. Is the rightful message we need to say that? See, there are so much research going on in anti-aging and becoming immortal. We all know about it. There is no scope of talking about it here. That the cell biology has been, they have found out how the lengthening of certain things in the mitochondria that makes the aging more rapid. So how to make it, or they getting shorter, the telomeres getting shorter causes aging. So, what food, what nutrients, what levels of happiness can keep the cell health good? To that level, micro level, we are talking of micro RNA. To yesterday, Nobel Prize, couple of days back, they got. So, I think educating is not difficult. We can start small and then it becomes infectious. Stakeholders' perception and readiness is important in education and everywhere. Because in today, if I want to start team-based learning, I first take a readiness scale. Do you know about team? How do you function as a team member? Would you like to work in a team? Would you like to be having a group dynamics? Will you be in the team and work like a team member, or there is a tendency to boss over or to be a recluse? So when you find out all these things, are the elderly ready? They will be ready, provided we give them the reason. Everybody wants to know the reasons. Who wants to age? No one. But when you abuse the body, body is going to age. And mentally, if you say that I am old, I am old, I am old, abhi kya itna hi hai, and something like that, it is sending to a subconscious mind that it is that I am old. So inclusion for future of ours, inclusion of the elderly in the healthcare proper scenario, educating is our securing the future of each and every child in the society, in our country, across the world. So why healthcare workers? So there are simulated scenarios. If you see that role play plays a very important role in education and educating people and clinicians to be inclusive with how they communicate with the patient. There are so many videos available where they are said, Jara uncha bola, and you start shouting at them. And also, you don't listen. Oh, he's coming every day. That's a bias. Every day with the same complaint. Just ignore him. So that is not the dignity. So let's show some dignity. Doctor-patient communication refers to descriptions of the different critical moments in a clinical interview. So critical moments in a clinical interview. You don't make noise. It also referred to elements of communication with patients that can build trust in respectful interaction. Patient look forward. There are people who go again and again to a healthcare setting because they live alone and they want to talk. It may be a case with one person, two people, not everyone. And if they come, they require some help. Prejudice against older adults refer to descriptions where participants observe potential ageist attitudes. Action towards patient's role. He was behaving in a hurry. He wanted to be seen first. He was not happy. So all these descriptions creates a bias. So let's not be biased with that. So there should be inclusiveness in the curriculum. How empathy for older adults can be encompassed. Not elders speak, but at the same time, being very pragmatic in asking him his history and his symptoms. Validating the emotions. Oh, it's not paining you. It is paining him. So is it paining? What type of pain? Go into the details and then describe to him. The participants in the society, patient role, describe the emotional validation. So what I'm saying is, in the healthcare setting, we need to employ scenario-based teaching for elderly. How does health economics work? By preventing the disease. Spend money on prevention and education and promotive care. Let's look at the statistics here. The elderly population in India is expected to increase from 153 million in 22 to 347 million in 2050. This is a significant demographic shift. With 10.5% in 22, it's going to be 20.8% in 2050. There are other articles where I read that it is not 10.5% as they have shown, it is 12.5%. But this was from government side, so that's why I took this. So life expectancy is about 71 to 74 years. And also 40% of elderly are in the low income group or maybe just at the poverty level. So we need to take care of that. Senior living facility needed in India today is 1 million and it will increase to 2.5 million. How many are we able to help with? Is the senior living facility the only thing? And then in the living facilities, we hear about abuses. Why can't we educate the community to take care as we take care of the children? So can they also cooperate? The elderly also contribute? These are some questions we need to ask in the society, because today we talk about daycare for elderly. This is a common practice in the Western countries also, wherein the elderly go to an elder senior daycare center where they have different activities in the morning and afternoon. They can have option of even having their small, bring the lunch or have something over there. And they also go for trips. So this is a daycare facility. We have a daycare for a child. So people are saying daycare for an adult. The Government of India National Healthcare Program aims to improve oral health for all citizens. Look at this now. How the NOHP provides dental units to states, which can be established in district hospitals. Units are equipped with dental chairs, X-ray machines. States can also appoint dental surgeons and they can assist. That means to say they have created a policy and nobody is monitoring whether these district hospitals dental chairs are working, dental surgeons are there, oral health care, when they lose the teeth, it's such a pathetic condition. I heard a patient saying, Ore, you sent this, somebody sent me sweets with all the, dry fruits which are so rough, I can't eat. They should think and send smooth ladus, no? This is the plight. When you lose the teeth, you realize the importance. The gateway for good health is oral health. So they say one slogan, that fit to life hit. Because you look also good, you can smile also boldly, and you can eat and enjoy the food. Eat, of course, with care. So they say public-private policy. Government has just named that there should be public-private. I have not seen great public-private policies. The colleges have their own geriatric clinics and geriatric programs, but this is very limited to the locality. And it encourages public-private partnership to achieve this. This all should be only on paper. No. It should be in reality. We need to think a lot about it. So for the senior citizen, recently we all know that government has created a scheme by which you can link your whatever your credentials like Aadhaar and other things and the ration card. Every 70-year-old, irrespective of the income, will get 5 lakh coverage for the year. It's not easy. So this should be made still available to the elderly. It is not easy. Recently, I'm struggling with one person getting that scheme of the government in one of our municipal colleges. It's so difficult because of this paper, that paper, etc., etc. So that needs to be taken care of. Aging is a complex process. Biological, psychological, social categories associated with changes in many processes like physiological, environmental, and behavioral. We talk of epigenetics. We talk of environment on genetics. Let's talk about environment with aging. and mental health and aging. They have found that positive attitude people live longer than the people with depression, negativity. Does he really want to be depressed? No, it happens to him. So let's identify, let's talk about it, let's help him out. So this just to show that puzzles need to be all, completely solved with the, of course, with a subjective low, human to human, person to person, but we need to have a larger picture of knowing what other healthcare workers. A physiotherapist last time told me that the orthopedic is telling that okay, do physiotherapy and leave it after the knee replacement. No need to do for after 1 month or 15 days. Somebody said no need to do at all. So is this the respect we are having for each other in the healthcare scenario? Each one of the healthcare workers are important in solving the puzzle. So it's not anti-aging pills and anti-aging research and some things will come from outside. It will come from us as long as we live. They say the old monks lived for 180 and 200 years. How far it is true, we don't have proper documentation. But they are saying that this is because of their able to eat the uncooked food in a large part because they did not live in a society with environmental pollution and such a high AQI, especially in big cities, and also the type of vegetables and the grains what we get all are genetically modified. So all the GOMs have come. So they say if you eat one orange, vitamin C level was much higher in the 60s and 70s than even if you eat 6 oranges today. So that is the scenario. So whatever available, we cannot grumble about everything, but whatever available, the best what we can do for the all of us to grow gracefully is to be seen. And as I said, yes, we need to provide free dentures or we need to provide free healthcare. But is that the only solution? How he lost the teeth? The same way he will not upkeep his new dentures also. So let's not talk just about patchwork of helping him, creating some more homes and creating some help. And again, humans are humans. Motivation has to come from within for my own health. We are talking about Ozempic, not available in India, but people say it's going to be a game changer in the society for the in the next 20 years. There will not be any obese people. Well, let's wait and watch. Let's see what are the reactions and actions and side effects of the drug. But at the same time, motivated adults, even today, I know people who are, joining programs to keep their health, not only exercises, nutrition, they go for long treks and walks and all above the age of 60. So this is a group I came to know recently in Pune about in the COVID times I came to know. So, like that, awareness needs to be there. It's not that lifestyle diseases cannot be reversed. To a certain extent, they can be reversed. And if you take care to a large extent, they can be controlled. So, the roles and duties have also changed. Formerly, the people used to say that I have a role in the home because I cannot leave the home because I have to look after my grandchildren, look after the home, I have to cook, I have to do this. That's how elderly abuse was rampant. People who go from India to Western countries also. But today's elderly are empowered. They exercise, they are tech savvy and they're trying to become tech savvy. They play with their grandchildren. They go to a park for various amusements and they also celebrate their anniversaries. So, this is what a fulfilled life we need to all build together. So, hobbies, art, painting, music, dancing, traveling, and many more. If I list out to you, there are so many. I was also amazed. One of the persons told that many people have that hand, they cannot draw and all these things completely change once you start using the part. That means if you don't use it, you lose it. Use your brain, use your hands, use your body for yourself and to help others. Travel, be with the nature. I think that's the way. This maybe I'm talking about the middle class and upper middle class, but the economically poor class needs also to be weaker class, also needs to be empowered with many things what we can do for them, and empowered not by giving arms. Today the people who live in slums, they say it's my right to get a free treatment in the one of the government or municipal hospitals. It is your right, provided you have maintained your health. You did not keep your household clean, and so the mosquitoes came so rampant and you got malaria or all the related diseases. Elderly who don't look after themselves, don't even move to take up a glass of water. They're only ordering mode, also not allowed today. So the whole cultural change has to come from all sides. Every age counts. This is a pledge I want all of us to take. This is through the Ageism Society I have taken from them. I stand for a world without ageism, where all people of all ages are valued and respected, and their contributions are acknowledged. I commit to speak out and take action to ensure older people can participate on equal terms with all others in all aspects of life. Sunday evening, I want to go out as much as any younger person wants to go out. And age is in the mind, it's just a chronological number. Aging is living. There is no such thing as too experienced or too little experienced. Every age is the right age. Retirement is not a requirement. You can re-employ yourself because you have to follow the policy of the government. Longevity is the best thing to happen in ages. The life expectancy has increased in our country. Of course, the median life is still in India 28.4 years or something like that. Age is not the problem. Ageism is the problem. I want to live till 90, but I want to live gracefully. I want to live with being able to be mobile, being able to contribute with all my senses and all my happiness in place. And who creates that? Not from outside. Let's not otherize. Let's say we are preparing for ourselves. So let's stop discrimination, and I will be happy to answer any questions if there are there. Chinmay, I think I'll stop sharing so that I can see some people. Yeah.
Yes, madam, definitely. So thank you very much, madam. I request Dr. Sapin Parlikar to say a word of thanks. Over to Dr. Sapin.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, for an enlightening talk.
Thank you.
And it was wonderful to hear you speak on ageism. And you highlighted the various stereotypes regarding aging and also the othering phenomenon, which was an eye opener for me. Because othering phenomenon occurs in the disability, but in aging also the othering phenomenon occurs as an eye opener. And you also highlighted various creative strategies to overcome aging, to overcome ageism. So I think it was a great talk. It has pondered us to think, and now the thought should be converted into action, I think.
Yes, yes. We can create a small change around us. That's all we can do. It's a ripple effect.
Yes, yes. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, all the participants. And I think it was wonderful on the 8th eve of Navratri in Gujarat. Okay, so thank you all. We will be closing the session.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
Hello.